Hello! Since a lot of you enjoyed my first overthinking video, I decided to make another one. This one is related to texting, which I overthink a lot. Maybe some of you go through this as well. If I send someone a text and they don't respond in 0.2 seconds, I immediately regret saying it. I'll wait, stare at the screen, and the more I see it, the more I start to think about why I shouldn't have said it. And I keep this regret until they actually do respond. Or I'll send another completely different message after it to change the conversation. This is why, despite the fact that I don't use it often, I love Instagram's DMs because there, you're able to delete a message and it disappears on both people's screens. Discord does this too, which is nice, but I don't use it that often like one-on-one conversations. Unfortunately, the ones that I regret most happen on iMessage or Twitter, which both of those you can't delete the message. I mean, you can, but it only deletes on your screen, not the other person's, so that's sort of pointless, unless you're trying to hide something and you want it to be off your screen. But that does not help me in the fact that I don't want the person to see the message I sent. The worst is if I send a long paragraph, either ranting about something or telling a story, and there's no reply. Because then I start to second guess myself and think, oh, that was really boring, no one probably cares, why'd I even send that? When really, they probably haven't even seen the message, because it doesn't show that it's been read, so for all I know, everyone else actually has a life beyond their phone, and they're too busy doing something else to see it. Even if I'm not overthinking it, it's still pretty annoying when I'm texting those kinds of people that just don't respond for a long time. I mean, some people are just busy, but if we're in the middle of a conversation and you just disappear without saying, oh, I'll be right back, or I gotta go, and you're just gone for hours, it can be a bit annoying, especially if throughout this time I've been sitting there paranoid that I said something wrong. Another thing, the tone of voice. Sometimes I'll see someone's message and then read it in an annoyed tone and think that the person is mad at me. However, if I ever ask them if they're mad at me, they say no. One time, one of my friends responded to a message with K, and I automatically assumed that they were mad because most people send K if they're annoyed. But then I asked her, and she said it was all good, so. I know that it's sometimes used for being quick because it's just one letter instead of typing out the whole okay, but I don't know where along the lines it sort of became something that people do if they're mad at someone. When you think about it, there's no way to know for sure what someone's tone of voice is because you're not hearing their voice. So unless you're doing a phone call or FaceTime, which I do not like to do, you don't really know. However, what I usually do is add LOL to the end of a sentence to avoid it sounding like I said it in a rude tone. By doing this, I tend to overuse the word because almost every sentence I'll add LOL to the end of it. But I mean, at least people aren't going to think that I'm mad at them this way. And there's also sarcasm. I am really bad at detecting sarcasm even in real life. Unless it's in a really obvious tone, which texting, there's none of that tone, so I don't realize until someone has to point out to me that they were being sarcastic, and I hate it because one time someone sent something and I thought they were being sarcastic, thinking, wow, I actually realized this time. But it turned out they weren't being sarcastic, so it just made me sound rude by disagreeing with what they said. Here's another more specific example of me overthinking. One of my internet friends that I used to talk to would respond with, yay, anytime I had left and came back. And I liked that because it was just a little reminder that he enjoyed talking to me because I'm constantly doubting myself when talking to people, thinking that they're annoyed. But every now and then he wouldn't say yay, and if he didn't, I automatically assumed that he was annoyed and hated me because of something I did. But that was never the case. He never meant anything by it. He was probably just, sending whatever. Now, I never really use emojis. I just don't like them very much. There's only a few that I think are okay. Instead, I use the text emojis, like that smiley face. Well, a variety of smiley faces. But some people I know do use them, like my mom, and since she uses them so much, if there's ever a time that she doesn't use it, I think that she's mad at me for some reason. And I think that's it. I'm sure there's a lot more ways that I overthink, but that's all I can think of for now. So, what are your opinions on texting? Do you ever overanalyze situations? Or are you one of those people who just send something and are okay with it and don't, never doubt yourself? Because if you are one of those people, good for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and have an amazing day. Bye! Despite all this, I do enjoy texting. I mean, it's not as important as talking face to face, but it's a lot easier. Plus, it's a good way to make new friends on the internet and stuff.